Okay, so we start chapter 2 today. So we start with the mantra to Lord Krishna first. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachalura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. We bow down to Lord Krishna, who is Jagadguru, who is Devaki's Paramananda, the greatest joy, who is the killer of Kansa, and also who is son of Vasudeva. Okay. Then we will do a Gita Mahatmya prayer. Sarvopanishido Gavah Dogdha Gopal Nandana Partho Vatsah Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amritam Mahat. Means Bhagavad Gita is that nectar, Amrit, which comes from all the Upanishads, Sarva Upanishadu. And the person who is taking that out from those Upanishad, Dogdha, who's milking it, is Gopal Nandana. And person who is enjoying it, who is a Bhokta, is a Partha. And we all of us. So that's why I said in the beginning, this is about the Arjun in all of us, who is here right now, who's ready to listen to what is saying it. Okay, we start chapter 2. A little bit about, so we are in chapter 2, which is Sankhya Yoga, has got 72 verses in it. We already completed Arjun Visad Yoga, which has 46 chapters, 46 verses. So those verses, if you want to see where they are, you can find it in the shared study folder. Have a look into this and go through it. But the main real teaching starts from chapter 2, from here. So you are at the right place. Okay. A little bit of about the word Sankhya. Okay, the Sankhya philosophy is very old, comes from a Kapil Muni, very old, and it has a very systematic way of reasoning in there. Okay, some of you have gone through Drikdishya Viveka, Tattva Bodha. You all know that we have been able to find how we have gone through various ways of looking and breaking down each and every pieces of it into three gunas, into various types of it, how we can look into the gross elements, subtle elements, how they play around, how the work takes place, how the body gets created, how the subtle elements gets created, what are the three different types of bodies are there. All this comes from here. But the most important part of the Sankhya philosophy is that it focuses so much on and building up your right viveka, effective discrimination, which allows us to see clearly who we really are. Okay, drishya, whatever you're seeing it, and who is actually seeing it, the seer, and that is where it lends a lot of its work to various other darshanas in Hindu philosophy. Okay, and we will touching a little bit about it, but this chapter itself is not about going in detail about the Sankhya philosophy. It is only about the bullet point where allowing Arjuna to see, to build the right discrimination, to see what he's currently seeing it and what he should be seeing it. Okay, so the difference between those two is that's why the particular chapter name is Sankhya Yoga. And how it is divided, it is divided into these various verses, and you'd be getting basically a quick summary of all the different types of yoga which Bhagwan is going to talk about. So first is verse 1 to 10, which we will going to go through right now. You would probably would have if you understand Sanskrit, you could have guessed it. Still, Arjuna has got some doubts left, some strong arguments left in his repertoire, which he's going to throw it up and then he surrenders. Okay, and when the surrender has come from Arjuna, then only the real teaching starts. And that's where first from verse 11 to 46, Lord Krishna will be talking about it, improving his viveka, and then he will touch upon three yogas: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and very little of sannyas yoga in the end. Okay, just remember, this is just a summary. It's not exhaustive list, because the next chapter onwards, we'll start going into each of those and a little bit more in detail. Okay, and Bhagavad Gita also helps us to reconcile the three portions we normally have in Vedas. So there's a Karma Kanda, there's Upasana Kanda, and then you have the Upanishads, Jnana Kanda. And sometimes while the Gita takes a lot of uh, powerful inputs from the Jnana Kanda, there are certain verses from Upanishads which are taken as is, which will be spoken by Lord Krishna verbatim. Okay, to find a right way of doing all three together, because sometimes we just focus on a karma kanda, only rituals becomes very dominant. Okay, or we become very much focused around the upasana kanda, means we're just practicing as we are, but we're not doing, we are a little bit over the rituals, but we have not really spent time in contemplation. Okay, so you can think about it this way: in the karma kanda, the body takes dominance. We are doing a lot of work using our hands, our legs, all those things comes in there. Vasana kanda, there's a lot of mental work is being done. But the jnana kanda, where really the intellect will starts to come place, will taking place there. So all three is where it gets reconciled, and we will see in few verses in the beginning how Lord Krishna will starts to challenge Arjuna about his thinking. Okay, let's begin. So we discussed about it, about the Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya Darshan. Most important part of this is that they're not two separate lines of thinking. They all comes together and intertwine, get together. In chapter 5, even Lord Krishna will say that it is only the children, children means talking about people who have not gone through it properly, thinks about the Sankhya and Yoga as different. Okay, Sankhya Yoga Prathak Bala. Bala means kids. Prathak means separate. They think people who thinks it's separate, Balas. Okay, but not Panditas. Those who the knower of the truth, Panditas. Not the Pandit if you have got in your name, not that Pandit. The real Pandit is the one who knows what is truth and what is untruth. Okay, so we'll start from here. We'll not go into this much more detail. I put there for you understanding of what the Sankhya Yoga had. It had these elements describing it, uh, uh, describing the Prakriti, how we are from the gross to subtle elements point of view, and then in on top of it there is a Purusha, which is the conscious element of it. Okay, Prakriti by nature is jada, it doesn't move, doesn't do anything itself. The Purusha provides that to work through it. Okay, let's begin. So, Atha Dvitiyo Adhyaya. Atha is the beginning. It's the beginning of the second chapter. So remember, in our first chapter, towards the end, Arjuna has given all arguments he had in his life, everything he could build up against not fighting this war, he had put forward. Okay, still he's got some arrows left, uh, but before he throws those up, what we hear in chapter 2 is some kind of a as a teacher who loves that his student very much. But then when we see that person has got a little bit confused about what he's supposed to do, filled up with a lot of negative thinking, then sometimes the first teacher does is he scolds a little bit. Okay, and that what is going to happen. So in verse 2.1, once Sanjay is saying is tam means to that Arjun. Okay, uh, kripaya avishtam means the Arjun is currently is overwhelmed with a wrong placed pity. He's pitying things which shouldn't be pitied. Okay, so just keep it that way, and then he's a ashrupurna. So now all of his work he has worked through, all the arguments he has gained, he's become so emotional that his eyes are now filled with tears. Okay, and tears are seen by Lord Krishna. Okay, and those tears will make just like what he's expecting is that Lord Krishna will come and hug him and give him his love and say, "Ah, your thinking is right. This is not the right thing you're doing. Let's just get away from it." So he is currently in that state. Okay, but Madhusudan, the killer of the demon Madhu, Lord Krishna himself, he speaks. Idam Vakyam Uvach. He said these words. And these words are very, very powerful. Okay. So the first he says is Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishme Samupastidam. And then that how did you get this? How from where you get this problem? This kind of rejection you're currently getting it. Kutastva, from where? Of course, clearly he's saying is I didn't give it to you. So where did you get it from? Okay. And he says Vishme Samupastidam means it's a difficult place. You are at the moment where you are is a Visham Sthal. It's not an easy place to be. Difficult time has come. Armies are ready to fight. And from where, how come you come to this understanding of everything you're currently speaking? Okay, where did you get it? And then say whatever you're thinking about it. This way of thinking you have is anaryajushtam. So anarya, arya means the nobles. So it's not the race. Keep one thing in mind. There's a lot of confusion, and there's so much of bloodshed has gone on the name of the race. This is about who is the Aryan. Vedas will give you a very good understanding of what really who's the really Aryan is. But the person who is, and this has nothing to do with the male or female. It's about a human who is balanced, righteous, equipoised, and dharmic. Means that we have looked into those 10 qualities of dharma, and he's full of it. Okay, he's an Aryan. Doesn't matter from where he has come from, what his race, whatever language he speaks, nothing. But that is what is an Aryan. And here he puts the un to it, anarya. So un, we also know in English we have the same, probably the root is the same, comes from the Sanskrit. He's saying whatever is they are doing is very un-Aryan type, anaryam. Okay, this is nothing. This is not right. What are you thinking about it? Also, it is aswargam. Meant it is not also going to lift you up to heavens. It is not something. So you're thinking, whatever you're going planning to do, is absolutely not expected to be done by you at the moment. And even if you are not ready understanding that, on this earth, even if you run away from this battle, you will be giving a lot of akirtikam. Means you will be disgraced. Okay, nobody will respect you anymore. Akirtikam. He gives these three powerful words: anaryajushtam, okay, aswargam, akirtikam. So in our life, when we come and choosing what is right and what is wrong, what we do, how shall I take a decision now? Okay, how we practice this is what here it is. three things. Saying, is it something which a right person do? Is it something which will help me takes takes us to the heaven? We'll talk about what is definition of heaven here is different. Okay. And also, is it going to take my glory away? Is it something going to bring me a disgrace? This is to a common man. Okay. Let's understand. Remember, at this time, Arjun, just after chapter 1, he is nothing but a common man, just a very preparatory state. Okay, at this state, he is in a state where difficult mind is clouded, difficult thinking. Okay, and how we are going to lead and make decisions in our life is the same as the state of Arjuna is. And he brings he uses Arjun. Okay, uh, okay, why you are what you are going to do this. Okay, now next words is it's much more strong. Okay, he says clavyam masmagama part. Clavyam is and in Sanskrit words, in also in if you look into this, the real meaning of it, it's something which is very difficult, unmanliness. So you are a warrior, you are a kshatriya, and you are currently talking about it something which is very unwise. Klavyam asma. Do not masma. Do not go to the unmanliness. Okay, and he says the word partha. Partha is a means it's a son of Pritha. Pritha is Kunti, his mother, Arjun's mother. And the story comes when Krishna and Kunti are having a chat. He's saying, your son, all your sons are going to the war now in Mahabharata. Do you have any message to give it to them? It's a conversation between Lord Krishna and Kunti. And Kunti, being a warrior princess in herself, okay, she says, ask them to do their dharma, okay, for which they are going there. And here he is reminding this to Lord Krishna is reminding to Arjuna that your name is Partha, your mother is Pritha, okay, and she's a very strong woman. And you are currently going towards Klavib, which is not good. Okay. And then he also says, this is not befitting to you. Okay. Na etat tvai upapadyate. I mean, this is something which you're thinking this is not good for you because you are a son of Pritha. You're a Parth. Also, then he adds a little bit more to it. He says, Chudram. I mean, something you're thinking is very petty, very lowly. Okay. And Hridaya Daurbalyam means it weakens your heart. Okay. Something which is basically working towards making your heart go down, working towards making you much more coward. Tyaktva, give up. Give up these lowly thoughts. Give up this petty thoughts. Okay. And then he gives a call. He says, Uttishta Parantapa means get up. Get up and fight. Got no other options left. In our life, when we go through this, sometimes we give up things. Suppose we say, I'm going, you make up all your New Year resolutions. In the year, this is all I'm going to do. Within 2-3 days, all gone. Okay, difficult. Say, okay, I will make it for next year, and you give up and let it go. So this is all nothing but Very, very weak thinking. So, and here Lord Krishna is calling up, get up, shake off this and get up. Okay. Remember, Arjuna is a Kshatriya. He's a strong warrior. Physically, he's very strong. Okay. But he's currently behaving like a meek, very weak. And that's why Lord Krishna is giving him these hard words. Okay. And that this is something which is not suitable to you. Why you are doing this? Now, next. But Arjuna, he continues. He still has got few arrows left. Okay. Which he's going to now provide an answer to it. Say, and is having a conversation, an argument with Lord Krishna, saying, "How will I fight against Bhishma and Drona with weapons in battle? They are worthy of worship. Katham Bhishmam aham sankhe, Dronam cha Madhusudana." How will I get into the battle with Bhishma and Drona? Okay, how will I? Okay, with Ishubi arrows. Okay, how will I go and fight with them? How shall I? Pratishthot, prati, Pratiyotsyami, how will I throw? How will I shoot the, the arrows at them? They are worthy of puja. Puja thau Harisudana. Means they are worthy of worship, and you are asking me to throw arrows at them. Yeah? Difficult question. And we sometimes we have our own conditioning, thought process, certain beliefs in in our system, and sometimes once in a while someone comes and he shakes it up, okay, and he says that is wrong, and that these are the reasons we normally hear. How will I something which is worth worshipping for? You're asking me to destroy it. Just keep one thing in mind here. These two other warriors, Bhishma and Drona, one, they both have actually are on the other side, but they don't have any qualms about what's really is going to happen to them. They are there for as part of a collective force, and they're there currently individual dharma, and there's something different discussion we can have it why they're on that side. They have been put on that side of adharmic forces. They are on the Kaurava side. But they are not complaining about it, that why I have done all my life so much good. I have taught so many students. I've made Arjuna the greatest warrior in the world. Bhishma is saying, I've been given so many boons. I'm a son of Ganga, and I'm this and that. I cannot die. And I'm standing now ready to fight a war with dharmic forces standing on a dharmic side. They don't have any kind of these problems. Okay, they are not asking these questions to Lord Krishna. The only person who is asking is Arjuna, because he has taken from a collective, he is observing his own ego. He's thinking about I. What will happen to me? So in a team player, as we sometimes we work in a corporate sector or any various engagements we have, where a team work is more important. But suddenly one individual says, no, I'm different than this team. And he said he wants to work differently. Okay, he says, I'm going to not to do what the team wants to do. I will do something else. So he becomes an spoiler in the team. He brings the team down. Individuality in a team, we all know, is very dangerous. Doesn't matter what you're doing it. You are working for a cause, you're working for the work. Okay. If the team, you're not working as a team player, you start to bring it down. So Bhishma and Drona, they have been put in a team by various circumstances. They are ready to fight it out from that side. Arjuna is not having that because he thinks differently other than the team. And that is the reason why Lord Krishna now has to speak 18 chapters to him to take him back to make him a team player. Okay, and he continues his argument. He's saying, I'm going uh, to fight against my teachers, Gurun. Okay, and if uh, if I don't have to kill them, okay, Gurun hatva hi mahanubhava, if I can live just by taking some bhiksha, means alms, and live on alms, that is shreya. I mean, that is better for me. That is right thing for me to do than to go out and kill my teachers. Guru nahatva hi mahanbhavan shreyo bhoktum bhaishyamapiha loke. Means in this world, if I'm living, if I can live on just by getting some food, by asking alms and live in it, that is better than actually slaying these gurus. Okay, because he continues, he gives more arguments. He's saying, Hatvarth kamanstu means whatever I will get it. Okay, Guru Nihaiva means if I go out and do win this war, what I will enjoy. Bhunjiya, Bhogan, whatever I will get, okay, whatever I will enjoy, whatever pleasures I will get, will be Rudhir Pradigdhan, means they will be tainted with blood. So of my gurus or the people I have killed, very strong. We all sometimes comes to this kind of thing. How will I let go? How will I make a hard decision? Last week I gave a decision about um, a son who's quite grown up but is still being fed by his father. Okay, how will I make a hard decision of scolding him to start eating by himself? What will happen? Okay, difficult to make a decision. And there are so many all around us. Sometimes out of love we let our attachments to our kids, our friends, and families to do whatever they want to do, okay, without having a very clear understanding. There are so many problems in the world at the moment is probably because of this reasoning, the way we see it. Okay, because the same as Arjun. Okay, now Arjun is giving a very, very emotional statement. Even if, okay, uh, that's fine. Let them win it. They can kill me also. I will just go and ask my some alms and I will live with it, but I will not kill it. Okay. And he continues with this further. Now, this is like really breaking down his understanding of what really is going on here. So he's saying, we don't even know whether we will win, okay, or they will win. So the decision-making power gone. All the commitments he had, all the motivation he had gone. He's saying, I don't know whether I will win it or not. See, for a warrior to think about this way was considered really low. If a warrior is ready, and also the warrior within you, if you have those doubts, it's considered very lowly. Okay. Once you make a decision, get on with it and get up and do it. Doesn't matter what are the situations or circumstances are. Uh, so here he says, nurture etat means right here. Okay, vidma means we don't know. Okay, we don't know this. Okay, kataranno katarat means we don't know who. What is preferable? Whether we get it, yadva jayem, yadi, or that we win this war, or they win, they conquer us. So he's even ready to let them win the war. That is the situation of Arjuna at the moment. Okay, and you can understand why we have the coming chapters discussing about it, because this is a very, very bad state where Arjuna has gone in. As a warrior, he's supposed to be ready to fight. He had also, by this time, he had picked up, he has already blown his conch shell. He had picked up his great Gandhi bow, ready to fight, but then he drops it. And he started to have these kind of hysterical moments. We don't know what's happening. This happens to all of us, especially. I don't know. Some of you gone through it during the exam periods. Some kids currently go through. Some you can see some kids go to an exam calm and cool. They will just go and do it, and they score good marks. Some kids get very worried about those. Okay, and they get really, really panicking state. What else is gonna happen? Because they are thinking more than they need to think. And this is exactly what is happening to Arjuna's moment. It is clouding his intellect. Okay, the body, mind, intellect. When it works as a team, you make good decisions. And when it starts to get a little bit clouded, when things gets a little bit haywire, then you start making all the wrong decisions. You start to say things which you shouldn't be saying it. You start to do things which you shouldn't be doing it. Okay, you start to think things which you shouldn't be thinking it. So I give you three things, okay, which you end up doing it. And now 2.7 is an important one, and it is sometimes it is a considered by almost all the scholars is where Arjun really surrenders and starts to ask. So far, he is just giving reasons to Lord Krishna, who is his charioteer, and not asking anything back. Okay, not even asking for an advice. So far, he just puts arguments after arguments after arguments that why I should not fight this war. And Lord Krishna hasn't spoken anything yet to him. Nothing. Few words. Then in chapter 2, he scolds him a little bit. And when he gets those harsh words from Lord Krishna, he gets even more, he gets some more reasoning. But finally, understanding a little bit about uh, Lord Krishna's words, he surrenders. Okay, he surrenders by bringing out few words. He says, okay, I am currently karparne dosha upahat svabhava. Means this is something I'm currently besieged with this law of flow of cowardice. Okay, in my nature that has come into it. Okay, and that is currently my original sabhava was, which was a kshatriya, that the warrior one, is currently gone. Upahat, besieged my sabhava. This thinking which currently is I have built up within me is clouding my real nature. Okay, and then he says prichami tvam. So prichami tvam, I'm asking you as a dharma sammud cheta, means currently I've lost the ability to differentiate between what is wrong and what is right. Okay, and then he says whatever is good for me, you have to tell me. Yat shreya, whatever is good for me. Okay, syan nishitam bruhitanme, means tell me whatever is the better answer, better advice. Why? Because sishyasteham, means I am your disciple. So here is completely surrenders. Mam Tvam Prapannam. Please, I have come to you. Please help me. Please enlighten me. That's where he surrenders completely. Now, this is an important words for all of us because sometimes we work without thinking about that the work we are doing is God's work. Everything we think I'm doing it. Okay, the ego takes precedence. The intellect thinks that I am thinking. The mind thinks I am having these thoughts. I am instructing. The hands does. The legs does something. Okay, I see something, and all those things. And we forget that the God within us, the charioteer, is the one who is all the time driving this, continuously working with us. Okay, we forget this, and that's why we go into that other side of it, where we are not able to make what is right and wrong. So, and this is sometimes out of our own cowardice. For example, what kind of cowardice could be is, suppose I'm just giving an example. Some of you probably realize it very soon. About we recently we went for a walk. Okay, we did about 25 kilometers of walk. Uh, some of you joined in, some of you didn't join in. Okay, why? Sometimes you give a reason that I cannot do this. Sometimes you give a reason to do a little bit less than what you could do. Okay, because these kind of reasoning, when it starts to come into the mind, it starts to cloud the mind. It starts to play the butterflies in your stomach. What is going to happen? They makes you nervous, makes you worried, makes you fearful. And that's what Arjuna is saying is here at the moment. Okay, I'm in a very poor spirit. I don't know what to do. I don't know what shall I do? Where shall I what tell me? Whatever is the right for me, please help me. I am your disciple. And who is asking this? He's asking to the Lord Himself, God. So whenever you sit and you have confusions around whatever I should do, literally, rather than asking for the God, just having a conversation with Him in your silence. In your silence, very important part. And later on, we will understand this why. Ask this. Ask for the best advice. And I can tell you with my personal experience, you will never be wrong. You will never go anywhere else once you start to have that conversation. Once you have this, but what you need is the most important part of this is that you need to believe that you will get an answer. This is a story about a few people. It's been dry for there has not been rain for a long period of time. So let's go and pray our rain god to get to so that we can get the rain, and we will be doing this yagna and at this time. So everyone came. Only one small child came with an umbrella. Okay, that is important part. Have if you are that child that you believe that you will get an answer, you will get an answer. If you just searching and saying, oh, will I hear to me or not? Will I get anything back or not? What will happen? Is he doing the right thing for me or not? Why God is doing to me? You can sometimes even blame to Him as well. Something goes wrong. Why I don't know why God is doing to me. Okay. If something goes wrong, who do you blame? Oh God. You just blame to Him. Everything He takes. How many times you have to give it to Him? You haven't even started a conversation and you start blaming everything on Him. So change this. That's what happens to Arjuna. Once this is gone, he says, now please, I take refuge. Pramannam, I am right here with you. Tell me what is right and what is wrong. And uh, he says here, just give one last thing because I do not see. My intellect is so clouded that I cannot see. Okay, prapashyami. Pashyami, see. Prapashyami, deep seeing, cannot see it properly. Okay, don't see any reason. What I don't see any reason is that I have to basically go and fight my old friends and enemies. And what is happening is it is currently drying up my senses. I cannot see. Okay. Uh, Uchhoshanam, drying up. Literally, mouth is getting dry. Eyes cannot see what needs to see. The ears are not hearing right things. Okay. All my senses are drying up. Indriyanam, all my senses. Okay. And avapi bhumo asapatnam riddham. I do not see what is right and what is wrong. Okay. And I don't know whether if I'll get this Raj of Surana, means even if I'll get the kingdom of the celestial gods. Okay. Even if I get that, I don't see any reason why I should go and fight this. Means not only go to the Swarga, even if I'll get the throne of the Suranam, I do not see any reason why I should fight it. Okay. Then here he stopped. And Sanjay, our commentator, he says, after having said that, Eva Muktava, okay, thus having spoken this part, Gudakesha Parantapa. Gudakesha is another name of Arjun, as conqueror of sleep, and Parantapa is the one who is um, whose foes are really scared of. Parantapa, scorcher of his enemies. Okay, uh, uh, what he said to Rishikesha, Lord Krishna himself. Okay, Rishikesha means literal meaning is the mind, who is the master of the mind and senses. Previously, he just said when he finished this verse, Arjun, in 2.8, that all my senses have dried up. Sanjaya brings up the right word for Lord Krishna, Rishikesha. So he is a master of my senses, and he says, "Na yotsa iti," means I will not fight. Na yotse iti means I will not fight. Govindam, Arjun is saying, I will not fight Lord Govinda. Okay. Uktva, he said, and then he became very silent. Tushrim babhuva. He became very silent. Okay, means he's given all he has given all of his reasoning to this, and he surrenders and became very silent. Now he's ready to receive. Once we have finished in our life all these kind of various reasoning, I cannot get up early in the morning, for example. I cannot do the yoga, for example, every day in the morning. I cannot meditate every day in the morning. I cannot go out for a walk every day, or I cannot go for a long walk. So many I cannot do. You can put it up so many. Okay, I cannot do these things. Okay, over a period of time, once you start to get all these reasoning gone, then you have got no more reasoning left to do. Okay, this is what happens as we all are working towards uh, whatever we want to be. These kind of things comes in our life, and when that's the right thing comes in, the decision making time comes in. These I cannot or various reasoning sometimes clouds our mind and senses. Mind and senses, I said, because these are the ones who make ultimately in their drives in the right direction. Horses, remember, are those senses. So if the senses are controlled, you can get up at 5 o'clock. There's no doubt about it. If the senses are not controlled, even at 10 o'clock, you will not get up. There will be many at the moment. This is going to be 11 o'clock on a Sunday who is still sleeping. Yeah. So there's two differences here. Now, last verse for today is where the Bhagavad Gita literally is about to start the teachings of Lord Krishna. Okay, tam uvach rishikesha prahasanniv bharata. Okay, senayor ubhayo madhye vishidantam idam vacha, means he in the middle of the two armies. Okay, who to Lord Krishna, Rishikesha, vacha, what he said to whom? He said to the Vishidantam. Okay, Vishidantam, who is Vishidantam? Arjun itself. Okay, which grief-stricken Arjun, he said these words. Okay, and then next week when we meet, we start from 2.11. But I'm just going to, before we start from there, I'm just going to give you something for you to take home as a seed. Okay, Lord Krishna says the first word is very, very powerful. First verse itself. He's saying, Asocyan anvasochah tom pragyavada cha bhasase gatasuna agatasuna chana anusochanti pandita. Means you are grieving for those who should not be grieved for. Okay, yet you talk about the pragyavada, means you talk like a wise man. And the pandita, the real wise people, they don't mourn for gatasun, means those who have already gone, or agatasun, who are currently here. They don't mourn for those. Okay, I'm going to stop recording and